Today's gospel gem from the upper room comes from John chapter 14, verses 9 through 10. So you remember that yesterday, if you were with us, you saw the question was, how do we who feel orphaned and homeless make it home to God? And we saw in the beginning of chapter 14 that what it means to be home is to be with Jesus near the heart of God, next to the Father's heart. And Jesus, he says, is the way back to the Father's household. Where can I find room, even for somebody like me to be at home? Jesus says, with me at the heart of God. And we arrive at the Father's heart through Jesus' life and death and resurrection and ascension. Today, though, the question is a little different. It's kind of the reverse. How does God reach down to where we are and make himself known to us while we're here in the world? And what is Jesus' answer? He says that he is the way home to God from yesterday. Now he says that he is the Father's self-disclosure to us. Verse 10, don't you believe that I am in the Father and that the Father is in me? Jesus is saying, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. You want to see God? Look at me, Jesus says. This is the claim, actually, that gets Jesus into so much trouble, that even gets him killed. He's not just a prophet that speaks on God's behalf, good words, but he's the exact representation of God the Father on earth in human flesh. And this is, in fact, the whole theme of John's gospel. If you look back to chapter 1, John said that Jesus doesn't just bring us home to the Father, but Jesus also is the way God the Father is making his own dwelling here among us. So when I was a young man, I grew up in church. By the time I was 20 years old, I had probably heard 1,040 Sunday gospel readings, plus all the midweek services and any other time we read the Gospels. And I thought, as a 20-year-old, gosh, I understand the Gospels. I know the stories. Give me something with a little more meat. But now, as a 40-year-old man, I've learned this. If I want to see God the Father, then I need to look at Jesus. And if I want to see Jesus, then I need to see him act and hear him speak and behold him love and serve people in these four Gospels in the New Testament scriptures. The disciples said, show us the Father. And Jesus said, you're looking at him. And so now we disciples say, God, show yourself to us. And the Father says, behold, this is my beloved Son, whom I love, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. If you're wondering where God is during a global pandemic, look to Jesus. To get the best look at Jesus, look at the Bible, but especially the New Testament, and especially the Gospels, and especially all that Jesus is saying and doing in these gospel stories. Because it's here that God comes down to meet you by his grace. It's here in Jesus, emerging from these pages, that God plans to dwell with us by the Spirit in our world, no matter what may happen. And it's here that we realize, actually, that God is good all the time. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.